Okay, hello guys, it's Kasim. How you doing? I hope you're having a good week. I hope you've been keeping safe. I hope you're keeping healthy. I hope you're lifting iron. I hope you're getting stronger. I hope your life is getting better. I want to talk to you about Rihanna. I want to talk to you about Rihanna's pregnancy. I saw it on Instagram. I saw it all over all these different outlets. And I was thinking about it and I was reflecting on my life and I was thinking about what I value and what I was seeing and what it brought up within me. I wanted to talk to you about it. I hope it can add some value to the quality of your life in some way. I hope it can make you think about something in your own way, in your own life. I don't know, trigger something for you. I hope it helps. But before I get into that, guys, if you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers by June, please can you subscribe to my channel? You would be an absolute legend. Okay, let's go. One. So I wrote down in my journal, right here, as you can see, I wrote down in my journal, the first thing is strive to have a family if you can. So I think now, listen, before I say what I'm going to say, I always say these, before I say this, it's important for us to, let's just agree, there's always anomalies, okay? There is always somebody who breaks away from the rule. Can we just agree to that before I say what I'm going to say? Because I know you're going to say, well, Kasim, yeah, but not everybody's like that. I know that, okay? But let's just make the assumption, and let's just go with me here, without me having to say it, that there's always an exception to the rule. There's always an anomaly. There's always somebody who stands out. So now let me say the first thing that I'm going to say. You should strive to have a family if you can. And I say this because, look, the majority of the people who you pretty much speak to in life have all said that one of the reasons why they've had a really happy, fulfilling life is because of their family. Okay? This is where I said, right, there's always an exception. Because you're going to say, well, Kasim, yeah, but not everybody has a family and they have a great life. Yes, yes, yes. I get it. Okay? But what I'm saying is, there's very few people who you will speak to where you say to them, man, what do you think led up to you living an incredible life? What do you think the reason for it was? There's very few people who are going to turn around and say to you, well, the reason why I lived an incredible life was because I was alone. Was because I spent the majority of my life by myself. That was why I had an incredible life and I had great memories and I had fun. And I had a support system around me. That was the reason. Nobody says that, okay? Everybody says, you know, I had relationships and I had great friends around me and I had great family around me and my children. That's what people usually say when they talk about what leads to a fulfilling life. Now, in me saying that, that doesn't mean that there is no exceptions to every rule, because there's going to be some people who do live an incredible life who are not living from that space, who genuinely live their life alone. Like, for example, I studied some people who said that, well, let me put it another way, actually. A great example of this is the Queen. So I was studying the Queen of England, Elizabeth, and she said that her purpose on this planet was to serve other people. Now, obviously, she had a family, whatever, but she said that her purpose on this planet was to serve her country. She will always put her country first. I studied Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs, his destiny, right? His purpose on this planet was to leave a dent in the universe. And he was willing to let go of friends. He was willing to let go of family. He was willing to let go of his own children because he just wanted to leave a dent in the world. Now, you could say, well, Kasim, that's not really a fulfilling life. Well, that depends. It depends on if you want to live it, if that is your objective, if that's how you define success, if that's how you define life. And my point to you is, some people don't define life in that way. But the majority of people do. And my point to you is, look, if you can, I know that life sometimes can be depressing. I know that it's hard to find somebody to love. I know that it's hard dating. I know that you can be betrayed. I know that you could end up getting married and divorced. I know that you could end up building everything, having a house, everything, and it could all be wiped out in a crash. But I say to you, man, still go for it. Still dream. Still dare to actually build and create something for yourself. Because, you know, I found out that, you know that saying that people say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. A lot of us forget this. So, I remember somebody, Oprah, I think it was Oprah. Oprah said that so much of getting what we want in life is about living in the space of what we don't have, right? The magic of life comes in the bridge between where we're at and where we're trying to get to, right? The crossing of that bridge, that's what makes life exciting. I used to work with this guy in a pub called Revolutions, and Mohammed used to say to me, Kasim, you know, all of us are like on a train, and he said we're all going to get on the train on the train at different points. Some of us might get on it in London, some of us might get on it in Manchester, but it's the same train, and there's a train that runs through the entire world. And he said, does it really matter if you're in first class or if you're in economy? He said, not really. To some people it does, but he said, what really matters is the experience that you have on the train. He said, you can even be on a really crowded train, but if you're having banter and you're having jokes, right, and you're having great conversation on the train, it really, that in itself makes the journey worthwhile. But you can be on an empty train where there is nobody in the carriage and you feel lonely. Is that really living? I don't know. Like, this is stuff that you have to think about for yourself. But I've pretty much figured out for myself that I don't want to be alone. I don't want to live this life by myself, because I don't have a support system around me. I don't have anyone to rely on. I don't have somebody that I can just talk to. And I know it sounds really stupid, but I like talking to people. As you can tell, me doing this, I enjoy talking. So I want to have somebody in my life who I can bounce ideas off of, who I can have an argument with, who can challenge me and challenge my ideas and tell me that maybe some of the things that I'm saying I'm articulating them wrong, or they're not true. So I would encourage you as well, if you can, go for it. Have a family. Why not? I think you will learn so much about yourself. You know, I hear men say all the time, you know, Cass, I didn't even know what love was until I had children. I didn't even know how selfish I was until I had children. I didn't even know how strong I was and how undisciplined I was until I had children. And I thought, damn, so children can teach you that much about yourself? That's pretty incredible. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I wrote down here is that the average person can't afford to take the risk of leaving it that late. So I wrote this down because there's going to be a lot of women who are going to be, and in fact, I've already seen it online. I've already seen a lot of women who are saying things like this. Yeah, well, Kasim, you know, it doesn't matter if you focus on your career because, you know, like, look at Rihanna. She's 33, I think it was, 33 or 37, and she's having her first child. And it is very true. But here's what I'm going to say to you. Rihanna can afford to take the risk because she has the money to be able to take the risk. The average person cannot take the risk. Rihanna is in a position in her life where she's so successful that she has such a wide reach of potential mates who she can date. She has so much money that she can move anywhere and live a certain life and maintain her lifestyle, and it wouldn't even touch her. The average person does not have, number one, the access to that level of men. They don't have the amount of money to keep as youthful as she does, right? She can do plastic surgery, she can go on detoxes, she can have special food made for her, organic food, she can have a chef. Like, she can keep at the prime of who she is because she has the resources that would allow her to be able to do it. Most women, for example, if you leave it too late and you don't find a partner, right, you will not be able to have children because you won't be able to afford IVF, right? The average price of IVF in the UK goes somewhere between about, and I'm giving this as a rough figure, so don't be giving me nonsense. It goes anywhere between about £5,000 and about £15,000, okay? And in that means you would even have to, okay, fine, you freeze your eggs, whatever, it's £2,000 to freeze your eggs for every year. So, number one, you'd have to ask, do I have £2,000 to freeze my eggs every year? Number two, the older that I get, the higher my chances of having a child who's got autism, who gets ADHD, the higher the chances of me getting an ectonic pregnancy, miscarriages, like the complications get. That's why they recommend to women to have children younger, not later, because the complications just increase. The older you are, the more chance that they're going to need to do a C-section. So my point being is that the average woman cannot take the risk because they don't have the kind of resources or are not in a position that Rihanna is. And I want to warn you against this because society is teaching women today to leave it later and later and later and later to leave a spouse. Society is telling women today to prioritize their career versus their relationship. The average woman, based on the data, will not realistically reach CEO level. The average woman is not going to be a boss bitch, as you women keep saying. You're not gonna be having a company where where I don't know, you're doing nails or something like that, where you're bringing in £10,000 a month or a week. You just aren't, right? That's me being realistic. Now I know women always say, "Yeah, but Kasim, some women do." Yes, some women do, but that's the exception. And you've got to look around and look. I mean, I say to people all the time, "Do the maths. Do the maths. Look at your life. Do you honestly think, based on where you're at right now, based on your knowledge, everything, what's important to you, that you're honestly going to make it? And secondly, are you willing to make the sacrifices?" Because I say this to you because a lot of women get trapped by this. They then go into their career. They then decide at like 32, 33, man, okay, I've done well with my career. It's time for me to find a spouse. Here's the problem. The average woman wants a man who's older than her. So if you're just purely for maturity reasons and other reasons, so if you're 32 or 33 as a woman, that means that your man needs to be somewhere around 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 or something like that, right? Men who are 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 usually have a really good income. They're usually managers, partners, regional managers. And those men are sought after by the majority of women. Here's the problem. Those men don't want women who are 33. Those men want women who are 26, 27, and 28. Right? Because they're younger, they're more feminine. Women who are boss bitches, who are managers, have had to be very masculine because that's what's allowed them to be able to get to that level of position. They're usually competitive, very disagreeable. That is what's allowed them to be able to reach such a high echelon. Men don't want to compete against their wives. And I keep saying this to women because women don't understand this. A man doesn't want to come home and fight with you. He wants to come home and be peaceful with you. Here's the problem. For a lot of, in fact, I hear women talk about this a lot. Women say to me all the time, "Kasim, he treats me like I'm one of his employees. He just thinks that the kids are going to do whatever he wants. He just thinks that his wife, is just going to do whatever he wants." Meaning that it is very difficult for most people to make the switch between work, between focus, leader, to husband or wife. And I say this is even harder for women. It is much harder for a woman to be a boss bitch, to be CEO, manager, leader, masculine, dominant, to then go home and be submissive and be a housewife and think about the cleaning. It's very, 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 very difficult. That's why the most women are not in those positions, right? And so you have to think about this. And the other thing that I want to finish off with is you have to remember that what women value is not what men value. Okay? Men don't care about how much money you are earning unless they want to use your money. Okay? Men care more about things like, are you a good woman? Are you promiscuous? Are you somebody who they can bounce ideas off of? Right? Are you somebody who's family orientated? That's what men care about. A man who's earning £10 million a year can marry a woman who works in McDonald's if she's kind, if she's family orientated, if she's not promiscuous. He'll marry her. Women value a man who is well educated, who is handsome, who is physically fit, who is ambitious, who is well off. That's what women value, but that's not what men value, right? So you have to think about this stuff, and then you have to relate it to your own life, and you have to ask, like, God, has anyone told me this? Is this true? Is this right? So remember as well that for a woman, it takes you a lot longer to find a mate than it, right? Usually, most women that I speak to say, Cashin, before I have a child, I need to be married. Okay, so let's do the maths now. Remember, I said you need to do the maths on this kind of stuff. Okay, so let's say you reach your career until you're 30. How long does it usually to start dating, to find a partner? Is probably going to take you, what, 2 years until you're actually living with them. Then you get engaged. Then you think about, then you probably need to buy a house or be renting together. So now you're what, 3 years in, 4 years in, right? Now you're looking at 34, 35 before you even think about having a child. So if you're looking to have 2 or 3 children, you're risking it, man. You're playing a very dangerous game of risking it. This is what I'm saying. The majority of women can't take that risk. So you have to be really cognizant of this. This is why I say to women, find a partner and build with him. Don't do as the modern women today want to do, which is that they want to find the perfect man. No, find a man who's ambitious, who's going up, and build with him. Because that means you have a lot more time to determine his character, what he's like when he gets angry. If you leave finding a partner until you are in your 30s, you have a very small window of time in order to find out about him. And you're going to be rushing, and you're going to be trying to figure things out, and it's going to be like, oh my God, it's too short a time for you to actually get to know him. So, I don't know. That's what I think. I'd love to know what you took away from the Rihanna's pregnancy. Comment below, send me a message. I'd love to hear. If you want to help me get to 1,000 subscribers, please like and subscribe to my channel. You would be an absolute legend. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.